Haemin Sunim di Jakarta. Senang sekali, kemarin diadakannya tanggal 14 sampai 18 November. Lalu kemudian berakhir di Jakarta dan acara ini diselenggarakan oleh penerbit KPG bekerja sama dengan Young Buddhist Association. Teman-teman di YBA mana ya? Teman-teman di YBA mana saja? Hai. Terima kasih banyak ya atas kolaborasinya yang mengasyikkan ini. Lalu kemudian atas terselenggara atas kerjasama dengan Perpustakaan Jakarta dan juga PDS HB Jasin. Terima kasih teman-teman Perpus. Silahkan follow Instagramnya @perpusjakarta dan juga @pds_HB Jasin untuk informasi lebih lengkap. Dan juga bisa download aplikasi perpustakaan kita di Jaklitera untuk menjadi anggota perpustakaan gratis ya. Baik, sebelum kita mulai saya mau tanya dulu yang datang tadi dari jam 4 mana? Wah, Mbak Alin datang dari jam 4, setengah 4 nggak ada? Nanti aku mintain hadiah, terus teman-temannya pada gini, hadiah apaan gitu kan? Bingung ya, jam 4 udah ngantri ya Mbak Alin? Alright, tepuk tangan dulu dong untuk teman-teman yang udah datang duluan ya. Kalau yang datang dari luar Jabodetabek apakah ada? Dari mana? Bandung, naik apa tadi? Travel berapa jam tuh Mas? 3 jam. Haemin, so I asked the audience that whether they're coming from outside Jakarta or Jabodetabek. This man, what's your name? Mas Bayu. Bayu is coming from Bandung and he has to ride for about 3 hours ride. Wah, tepuk tangan buat Mas Bayu. Siapa lagi? Dari mana? Dari Bandung. Berangkat jam berapa Mbak? Jam 7 pagi. Kamu nginep dulu ya Mbak? Nanti biar pulangnya nggak langsung pulang nggak capek gitu ya. Tapi perjalanan nyetir sendiri atau wush? Pakai travel juga. Namanya siapa Mam? Mbak Wilda also the same, coming from Bandung, Haemin. Wow, there are lots of questions and Indonesian audience that are gathered now here to meet you in person. Such a lovely audience right now. Oke, nah hari ini kita mau ngobrolin buku-bukunya Haemin. Yang pertama adalah apa teman-teman? The things you can see only when you slow down. Boleh diangkat dong buku-bukunya tuh dibawa semua atau tidak sih? Cause you can see, wow. Loh, lengkap ya, ada yang versi bahasa Inggris, English translation, Indonesian translation, dan ngomong-ngomong ini penerjemah bahasa Indonesia juga ada di sini. Hai Mas Daniel. Mas Daniel is a translator to Indonesian edition. Terima kasih banyak sudah hadir juga hari ini. Iya, dan semuanya diterbitkan oleh penerbit Pop ya teman-teman ya. Kalau masih belum punya atau belum lengkap bukunya bisa langsung beli di depan. Kami sediakan diskon hari ini adalah 15%. Baik, nah teman-teman kalau kita bicara soal topik diskusi kita hari ini ya, Embracing Pain, Growing Within. Saya tuh ingat baru ada artikel tahun lalu yang diterbitkan oleh Kompas, dia bilang kalau Indonesia itu saat ini sedang menghadapi krisis kesehatan mental ya. This is became very important dan mungkin nanti kita bisa discuss sama-sama dan mudah-mudahan kehadiran Biksu Haemin dan juga buku-bukunya bisa bantu kita untuk bisa addressing bagaimana ya solusinya atau what should we do untuk sama-sama address masalah ini yang datangnya juga dari diri kita sendiri. Harus bagaimana nih kita bisa berdamai karena kita dengan berdamai itu malah kita bisa saling memahami gitu ya. Baik, satu lagi sebelum kita mulai, saya tahu pasti udah nggak sabar untuk memulai, tapi masih ada hal yang harus saya sampaikan. Kalau enggak nanti gimana dong ya, ini ya. Oke, jadi nanti saya disuruh turun lagi ya. Jadi teman-teman KPG tadi membagikan ada catatan belajar, dapat semua ya catatan belajar ya. Jadi KPG ini merayakan usia 28 tahun pada bulan Juni lalu. Temanya adalah kembali belajar membaca karena kita tahu bahwa membaca dan menulis itu adalah salah satu hal yang tidak bisa dipisahkan. Maka teman-teman KPG menerbitkan catatan belajar ini supaya teman-teman bisa pakai untuk nulis resensi atau mungkin juga untuk menuangkan pikirannya setelah membaca buku yang tidak harus terbitan KPG gitu ya. Nah ini teman-teman nanti akan bisa di akhir tahun akan dipilih siapa kira-kira pencatat yang beruntung untuk dapat buku lagi dari KPG. Aturan mainnya ada dalam buku, jadi silahkan saja langsung dibaca ya teman-teman semuanya ya. Alright, nah informasi terakhir dari teman-teman perpustakaan, mohon maaf dilarang untuk makan dan minum selama acara berlangsung dalam aula ya teman-teman ya. Jadi kita bisa pahami atau tepati bersama-sama. Baik, kalau begitu without further ado teman-teman boleh kita berikan tepuk tangan Haemin Sunim everyone. Hello Haemin, so I've asked the audience that they brought like the 3 books of yours. Later we will have the book signing and also the conversation personally with you. But at first, Haemin will have his opening remarks that will be given personally by him. So I will let you take off the stage. The time is yours, Haemin.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming, all the way, far. And I really, really appreciate, that you came here. Okay, I want to start by asking this question. Is this bottle big or small? Huh? Oh my God, you are too smart. Okay. That's not what I was expecting, the answer. Okay, is it big or small? Okay, right, oh my gosh, okay. Wow, like people here in Jakarta are very smart. All right. If somebody say, oh, this is actually big, right? Then I would say, like this. If you compare with this, then this becomes all of a sudden what? Small, right? And then if somebody say, oh, actually this is not big, this is small, then what if I compare with this? Then this becomes what? Big, right? Then the question is this big or small? Medium? Okay, that's not what I expected. But can we agree that this is neither big nor small? It is what it is. Yeah? Do you understand? Yeah? It is what it is. That's it. Right? But from this big bottle's perspective, let's say this bottle can talk, and then he can have his own opinions. And then his opinion is what? You are too small. You are not big enough, because you are not big, you are not important, right? And so while, although before this came to exist, this bottle felt I was okay, I am who I am, I am what I am, right? But once this big bottle comes and start talking to this, and you are not big, you are small, and you are not important, what if this bottle begins to believe this big bottle's opinion? Then what happened? Yeah? Then you mistakenly think that I am not big enough. I am not good enough. I am not strong enough. I am not beautiful enough. I am not wealthy enough. You see what I'm saying? Yeah? Yeah? It is this person's perspective. Yeah? This person's just opinions. Is this his or her opinion objectively true or not? No, it's not objectively true. It is only from this bottle's perspective, his point of view, right? But if this bottle forgets that this was just his subjective opinions and begins to incorporate this big bottle's comments, opinions, and then thinking that I am not good enough, I am not, beautiful enough, I am not smart enough, I am not successful enough, then you begin to have a problem. But did you have a problem to begin with? No, there was no problem. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Yeah, there was no problem. Only the mistake was what? Thinking that this person's opinion, subjective opinions, and then believe his opinion must be true, that's not true. You see what I'm trying to say? Yeah, okay. And another thing that I also want to talk about is which bottle is bluer? Yeah? Which one is a bluer, you know? Which one is true blue? Yeah? Huh? Depends, right? Can you see that? This question is also very much subjective, right? And if this bottle grew up with aqua, family, right? And then this bottle feels very comfortable, with this particular shade of blue, right? And then because this aqua feels very familiar with this particular shade of blue, it begins to think that, oh, this blue must be the best one, yeah? And then it can even push the idea and saying that actually this is the only true blue color. And then rest of them must be not as good, or maybe not exactly the ultimate blue, yeah? Do you see what I'm trying to say? Yeah. And then, you meet another bottle and say, I think my blueness is perfectly fine. And then this one says, no, you are not blue enough. True blue has to be this color, not that color, You see what I mean? Yeah. So if this blue begins to believe that I am not really true blue, according to his evaluations, but his standard, is it objectively true? No. He is just familiar with that particular shade of blue. You see what I'm trying to say? Yeah? What this person is insisting, like this has to be this way, it is only his opinions. It's not objectively true. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Yeah? How many judgments do we receive on a daily basis? Yeah? A lot, right? Yeah, you are not, pretty enough, you are not smart enough, you are not wealthy enough, you are not successful enough, you are not diligent enough, All of those judgments are just that particular person's opinions, yeah? And we did not have any problem, yeah? I am who I am, and there is nothing wrong with it, yeah? Do you see what I'm trying to say? And another amazing thing is this. In order for this big bottle to exist and claim that I am big, actually, in order to claim that I am big, it has to have that which is not big. Do you understand? Yeah. So this bigness depends on this smallness. Without this small, can he ever claim I am big? No. So he really, really, really needs this one. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Although he is very quick to judge others, he is forgetting the very thing that he assert. I am such and such. In order to be such and such, I need you, Everything is dependent. Yeah? Nothing exists alone in order to claim, if you want to make any kind of claim. You see what I mean? How everything is related, how everything is dependent on each other. Yeah? So if we can truly see that, then we need each other. Yeah? We need each other rather than we are always thinking about competing, against one another. Yeah. So I guess that's like the message that I try to share with you, and then maybe But you understood what I'm trying to say, right? Yes, yes. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Oh my God, you guys are really smart. I'm very impressed. Okay.
Boleh tepuk tangan dulu dong buat Haemin. Thank you very much. I think what you're going to say is you wrote that much in the second book. It is said that ketika kita sudah bisa mencintai diri sendiri, it is on the cover of the book, and stated that dunia akan mulai melihat bahwa kita memang layak untuk dicintai. I said to them that when we are already loved with ourselves, all the imperfections, then the universe, the world will see us to be in love with, ya kan? And then we can, dan kita bisa mulai menerima ketidaksempurnaan kita itu ya. Itu yang ada di buku yang kedua. Thank you so much for the opening remarks.
Would that be okay if we stand up? Because there are people way there.
Okay.
I don't think they can see us if we're sitting down.
Halo yang di belakang, boleh dada-dada dulu.
Okay.
Sudah lebih jelas sekarang ya teman-teman. Terima kasih banyak. Thank you very much for your coming. So I may ask, what about your tour in Jogja and Surabaya? And maybe there are something that particularly they are asked about, most frequent asked about, I don't know, happiness, how to cultivate it, about the mental health issues, about their problems. What kind of questions that you heard the most?
Yeah, like one of the themes that I heard again and again is Haemin Sunim, I am stressed. You know? How can I manage? Girlfriend is stressing me out, or my mom, or my boss, or I am living in a particular like apartment, and I don't like to live here, or it has some problem, and therefore I'm stressed. Apartment is this problem. We tend to assign the blame quickly to another person, or object, or situations, circumstance. However, if you actually carefully look at what's causing us to feel stress, is that it's not necessarily the object or the person or the situation, but our psychological resistance to the situation, the person, or the object. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah? It is. Like, for example, I could just sitting in Jakarta, in my hotel room, for example, or maybe outside, I was just sitting, and like a sound of bird in the morning, yeah, I can hear, right? And then ambulance sound also, beep, 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 these two sounds happening all at the same time. If I beginning to resist, let's say I like the bird sound, but I do not like the ambulance sound. Yeah, beep, beep, beep. I don't like that sound. As soon as I begin to resist psychologically to the sound of ambulance, then I feel what? Stress. Right? I just want that sound to just disappear, How come it's taking so long? And how come it takes more than a minute? You see what I mean? Yeah? But imagine that your father, your elderly father, he fell down. And so you were desperately calling the ambulance, calling the hospital, for them to send the ambulance. So you are waiting. Yeah? And then you begin to hear the sound of ambulance, beep, boop, beep, boop. And then, do you resist to the sound? No, you welcome the sound, right? Thank God the ambulance is here, right? Yeah? Do you see that sound of ambulance in and of itself is not causing us to feel stress? It is our own judgment, that is bad or that is not good, and therefore I am resisting to the circumstance or the object or the, a person, then what? It becomes stressful. So if we begin to see the true cause of our stress, then we can stop blaming other people. Yeah? When we blame other people for my own stress, what you are basically saying is, in order for me to feel better, you have to change for me. You see what I mean? Yeah. Like, in order for me to feel better, your husband, your wife, or your, boss, or your mother-in-law, they are the one who has to change. I don't have any problem. They have the problem. They have to change so that I feel better, right? But do they easily change their habit or behavior to suit my own liking? No, right? And because of this, if you're just waiting for them to change it, basically what you are saying is, I am the victim. This is a victim mindset. I am the victim of the circumstance. There is nothing I can do for me to feel better. So all you can do is just sit and complain. That's all you can do. And you are in this very powerless situation. Yeah? You don't have any power because you gave the power to them. They are the one who have to change. But you can reclaim the power, by realizing that the problem wasn't them. Problem was my judgment. The ambulance sound is not good. And therefore I am resisting to the sound. I am not suggesting here that we should just accept blindly. If somebody tried to attack me, should I just accept it? No. I'm not suggesting that we should accept whatever that comes in our way. I'm also not condoning any kind of abusive, emotional abuse or physical abuse. I'm not condoning any of this. And if you find yourself in a situation where you have to protect yourself, then we need to protect ourselves first, yeah. But I'm talking about just daily, situations, yeah, subtle resistance, yeah. I don't want to go to work, it's a Monday. Then it becomes stress, right? Stress. Right? Yeah? Yeah? Right. Right.
Thanks for reminding
No. Oh, no. I'm not reminding you anything, You already have that belief within you. Right? Right? If I say things that's not true, it wouldn't have any influence on you. You see what I mean? Yeah. Whatever the outer comments that's, throwing at you, if you don't believe in it, then it doesn't really hurt me, It doesn't really faze me. Yeah? For example, sometimes, I do get negative comments, on my social medias, and they say all kinds of things about me, right? You are stupid monk, or you don't know anything about Buddhism, or you are, all kinds of comments, right? Well, most of them, I am not so affected, yeah? It didn't bother me, why? Because I know they are not true. You see what I mean? Yeah. If it's not true, it doesn't bother you so much. Like let's say, imagine that all your life you grew up and then your parents and everybody else commented you, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so cute, you're so good looking, So while you're in your 20s, you have huge self-confidence. Everybody says you're beautiful. And then one guy came up to you and said, you are ugly. Yeah? Does that comment really hurt you? No, yeah? But let's imagine that beautiful person, deep down, you feel that I am not beautiful, If you really get to know me, or without makeup, I am not really that beautiful. And then somebody says very passing comments about your looks, then you feel hurt, yeah? Why? Because that person just confirmed your belief about yourself. You see what I'm trying to say? Yes. So I guess I digress a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you are stressed, just remember that it's not the situation or the person and things, of themselves. It's my psychological response that is creating unnecessary suffering. World is what is. Yeah. World is what is. If we start insisting that world should be different, yeah, which means I'm resisting, then to that degree we will feel stress. Yeah? World is always what is. Yeah? Yeah, it is not to say that we shouldn't strive to make a better society. We can be committed to make a better society. But if you are, arguing internally, yeah, fighting internally, then you are the only one suffering. Okay.
Thank you very much. Boleh tepuk tangan dulu. I think that is a relatable experience and also examples for all of us. And I might be thinking that it would be challenging for us to take a practice, to take the conscious thing enough to, thinking that we are good enough, that we are happy enough, or etc. And maybe you can share a little bit about the meditation practice that we can try in our real life to, try to meditate means try to be more conscious, right?
Okay.
Is there anyone that doing meditations here? Ada berapa banyak orang yang rutin doing the meditations? Oh, there's a lot. People
Okay.
are trying to do the meditations. Maybe you can help a little bit about this and elaborate more.
Okay.
What we can do practically.
Okay.
Tiap minggu. How many times a week? Once?
Yeah.
Once, 2 times, 3 times? 1 sampai 3 kali gitu ya?
Okay.
Okay.
Here is the one huge realization that I had, that is, if you try to become happy, you will never be happy. Yeah? Because as soon as you try to be happy, you instantly created the distance between me and future, self, But the thing is, the future self, you will never arrive at that state. In other words, our default, our true nature is happiness, but somehow if you begin to think that I am not good enough and this is not it, and I look for happiness somewhere else or some other future time, thinking that once I get there, then I will finally feel happy and I will become peaceful, yeah? But it is a little bit like chasing the horizon. You know what I mean? You get there, to chase the horizon. You're like, I try to get to, but you never get there. Okay, let me give you an example. I was 16 years old, and I thought that if I go to America, United States, then I will be finally happy. Yeah? Because I was 16 years old, I didn't know anything better. So happiness is not here, in my mind, happiness is not here. Yeah? What I'm looking for is not it. So I imagine what I'm looking for, I'll be able to discover in the United States. So I convinced my father that my uncle who lives in California, I asked my father, can I go and stay with my uncle, your brother, because my uncle at that time didn't pay, enormous amount of money to my father. So there was a debt, to be settled. So basically, my father called him and said, remember you didn't pay me back, so so I'm sending my son instead, basically. So I arrived, in California, and I thought, wow, this is where I'm going to find happiness, right? Yeah. So I finished my bachelor degree, but while I was, finishing it, and I felt that actually, California is not real America in my mind, yeah? True American is in New York, True American has to be Boston, It has to be East Coast, That's where all the Washington, D.C., New York, and Boston, that must be the real America, not in California. It's a hippie place, right? So I study hard, and thinking that if I go to that place, then I will finally find happiness, right? So I studied very hard, and I got lucky, to get accepted to a Harvard, program, a master's degree, and they pay me, they gave me all the full scholarship and everything. I was very, very happy. And once I got there, once I thought that, wow, finally I'm at Harvard, then I am supposed to be very happy, right? Yes? It didn't last, longer than a month. I'm telling you, really, yeah. Because once you're there, everyone is what? Harvard students, right? Everybody you meet is basically Harvard students. Yeah, it is just given, it's nothing special, nothing special, right? And also everybody, seems to be super smart, right? And I have to study among them. So all of a sudden, I really feel like I have to study really, really hard, and I feel there's no time for me to enjoy, my true happiness. Yeah. So, and then I thought maybe because I didn't actually practice and study, true Buddhism. Yeah. So I thought maybe if I go to China, because my Chinese master told me that I was Chinese monk, in my previous life. So, okay, maybe I'll reconnect myself with my Chinese root when I go to China. So I got a scholarship again, yeah, and then stay in Beijing, and I studied language in Tsinghua University, yeah, like a really good place, and then. After 2 years of living in China, yeah, I did not honestly, really liked it, to be honest, yeah. So while I was thinking, maybe because, Japan, is a real place. So I got another scholarship by Japanese government, right? So I went to Japan and lived in Osaka, yeah. So, you see the pattern? Yeah? What's the pattern? Yeah? You think that, happiness is not here, and it has to be over there, yeah? That tendency, you will never be able to arrive over there, yeah? Unless you see happiness is already here. You see what I mean? Yeah. So only way to become happy is to realize that you have plenty things to be happy about. That's the only way. Yeah? Yeah. So a good way to practice is gratitude. Yeah? Gratitude. So I practice gratitude. Yeah. In the morning, I feel like incredibly grateful that I have a healthy body. Like for example, I never ever imagined that I would get to go to Borobudur. Yeah, it was just amazing. Yeah, I studied about that place 30 years ago when I was in college, but I never ever thought that I would get to go, and I didn't know that it will become available in this trip, and then it did. Yeah, and all the things, like experience, people, wonderful people that that I'm meeting along the way, including all of you, yeah, I feel my life is incredibly blessed, yeah, incredibly blessed. So as I'm counting my blessing, guess what? More blessing is coming in my way, yeah, yeah, because that's where my vibration is. My mental vibration is way up there. Gratitude. Then gratitude attract another gratitude, another opportunity. Yeah, new opportunity, right? Yeah. So I didn't know that I would get to come to Indonesia, for example. Yeah? But I do now, and it's incredible, right? It's so beautiful, the scenery, people, food, it's just wonderful, right? Absolutely wonderful. And so, as we count our blessing, we encounter more blessing, but opposite is also true. That is, if you think that world is bad place, world is terrible place, yeah, and you become very bitter, then what happened? That particular world, where everything is not working properly, and all this event that confirms your belief will keep showing up to you. You see what I mean? You are co-creating the world. Yeah? Whichever vibrations in the mindset you bring into the world, you subconsciously look for the evidence to prove that I am right, right? Ego doesn't want to be happy together. Ego wants to be right. Yeah, ego wants to be right, because ego, if you have a choice, between being right or being happy together, ego will choose being right. So, yeah, I'm right, you're wrong. Basically, yeah, because ego is dualistic. Yeah, dualistic. So, I guess that's all I have to say. Thank you.
So much. I do. Thank you. I remember there is a quote from Buddha, but you can correct me if I am wrong. It is stated that there is no path on happiness. Happiness is the path. Is that right? And then you also wrote down on the third book, it is saying that it is us that choose what kind of universe we want to live in. Kita kan yang memilih sendiri kan, semesta seperti apa yang mau kita tinggali. If you want more gratitude, then feel more gratitude, right? All right, so because we still have more time, why don't we give a chance for the audience to have a conversation with you, right?
Okay.
Dari yang mana dulu nih? Dari sisi kayak,
Okay.
maaf ya Mas Iwet, sebelahnya dulu, belakangnya dulu ya. Belakangnya dulu, karena tadi angkat tangan duluan dengan siapa dan pertanyaannya. Silakan.
Okay.
Oke, terima kasih kepada moderator.
What's your name?
안녕하세요. 저는 파하드입니다.
Wow, thank you.
I learned a little bit of Korean because I love watching K-dramas and K-pop.
Okay.
Tapi saya akan bertanya dengan bahasa Indonesia aja, takut banget.
Oh yes, that's fine.
Saya aja perkenalan aja. Oke.
It's okay. Do we have another microphone? Sure. Right.
Oke, terkait bahagia ya tadi
Iya.
yang sempat dibahas. Kebetulan saya juga ada pertanyaan, kenapa kita tuh, saya sendiri sih, kenapa atau bagaimana caranya biar kita tuh tidak merasa bersalah ketika kita memulai untuk hidup yang tidak terlalu mengejar ekspektasi gitu, tidak terlalu mengejar dunia yang gak akan ada habisnya gitu. Karena menurut pengalaman pribadi pun, kebetulan saya juga adalah seorang fresh graduate gitu, dimana dunia kampus kan menuntut kita untuk serba cepat ya, IPK harus bagus, harus berprestasi, harus lulus tepat waktu gitu. Dan ketika saya masuk ke dunia pekerjaan sekarang ya, saya hanya ingin hidup, ya udah saya menjalani aja gitu. Saya punya target tapi nggak mau terlalu rush gitu, kayak ya sekarang CPNS segala macem gitu. Saya nggak mau FOMO gitu, tapi kayak saya tuh suka muncul berasa bersalah gitu. Bagaimana biar rasa bersalah itu bisa berkurang gitu, atau mungkin ya udah saya bisa bahagia gitu dengan pilihan yang saya jalani itu gitu.
Oke, terima kasih. Jadi tadi namanya siapa dong? Johan. Fahad. Oke, Fahad. Fahad is a fresh graduate. She just entered the work life, ya, bener ya, Fahad ya. Udah berapa tahun kerja? He's been working for a year and a half, and he feels like asking questions about the expectations. How about us not feeling too guilty if we do not have like much more expectations above? If we don't have those expectations, I don't feel like I'm guilty enough. I'm okay with this achievements. It's enough for me. What do you think about it?
Oh, okay.
Manage the expectations, yeah?
Right. um, we can be creator, creator, or we can be survivor. Most people are surviving. Yeah. We just barely survive. Looking for ways to survive, right? And survival mindset is basically saying that world is fragmented. Nobody's gonna help me. We have to just compete, and it's a zero-sum game. There aren't enough pies to go around. I have to go first and snatch it. Something like that. And then another word, creator, mindset, is not from survival. I am already okay, but I'm committed to create what I want to, see myself in the future. This mindset doesn't come from the feeling of lack, or feeling of insecurity, feeling of inadequacy. It doesn't have that. Instead, I am already full, and I'm so happy to be able to go out to the world and create what I see and that as good, and helping me, helping others. So there's no problem of having ambition or plan. The concern is whether you are doing it out of feeling that I am not good enough, or I am already good enough, right? So I talked about this in another talks, but I think it's worth repeating. That is, in a hotel here in Jakarta, I was lining up for breakfast, and then I wanted to have a fried eggs, so I was waiting, and there was one woman in front of me, and then one Indonesian older gentleman, instead of waiting behind me, he went around and spoke Indonesian to the chef, who was making egg, and then I was shocked that he made the egg and gave it to him first.
Malu ya orang kita
And
gitu
then-
ya.
So I felt a little angry, and this rattled me a little bit, So then I said, why am I so upset? Because it's not like I have to go somewhere soon. I have like 2 hours of free time, right? Why couldn't I just let him have it? Maybe he has some urgent thing to do, Why can't I be generous? Why can't I be? And then I realized I was triggered because I had this false belief about myself. The false belief about myself is this: I am unimportant. I am not important because I am from poor family. You see what I mean? I am from poor family, so I can be ignored. Ever since I was young, I felt that because my family, is poor, people can ignore me, and I've seen my parents being ignored, right? So I believe that subconsciously, still that I am not important. So that's why I was a little bit upset, because what I just experienced just confirmed my, false belief. The reason why I'm saying this belief false is because when I pause and ask, hey, Haemin, are you really not important? I ask these questions. And the truth is what? I am important. I am worthy. Just like everybody else is important. Everybody else is worthy. You see what I mean? So I see the falseness, falsehood, of that belief. Then I can relax. All of a sudden, my body is relaxing. Okay, let him have it. Let him have the egg. I will give you 2 minutes. It's not a big deal. So it stopped bothering me. So whenever you feel trigger in your life, I want you to pause and see, why am I triggered? why is this particular thing bothering me? Yeah? Because this is an opportunity for you to free yourself from self-imposed limiting belief about yourself. Okay? Yes.
Sudah jelas ya Mas? Jadi sebenarnya nggak ada yang salah dengan punya ambisi ya. Cuman kita mesti sadar lagi ambisinya itu memang mau kasih makan ego kita atau bukan gitu. Kalau selama emosinya atau ambisinya masih sehat gitu ya, tidak mengasih makan ego kita dan rasanya kita masih oke dengan itu dan jalani saja. Alright, another questions dari sini? Wow. Lah, coba yang mana dulu ya? Sure. Which one do you choose? That is going to be. Oh ya, dipilih Mbak Gaby, editornya buku ini ya. Jadi silakan, Mbak Gaby mau yang mana? Halo, dengan siapa?
Hello, my name is Mipa.
Hai Mipa.
1, 2, 3.
Thanks for
Hi,
coming.
Mipa. 1, 2, 3.
Hai Mipa.
Thank you for coming to Indonesia, Mr. Haemin, especially to Jakarta. We are so very happy you come here with us now. Okay, my question is simple. I have two questions for you. The number question is, but I make it simple.
Okay.
First.
Okay. Yes.
Supaya masih ada waktu buat yang lain gitu maksudnya kan? Oke, silakan.
In your book, you speak a lot about peace or self acceptance. And my question: what small steps can we take to begin making peace with ourselves? Especially we also gratitude, right? So.
Okay.
What the especially step that we can do, especially in modern life? And the second question is, what is the greatest lesson you've learned? Because you have lived in Eastern and also Western culture, and what happiness and the meaning of life for you? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. That's profound. Do you want to answer the first questions? How can we make peace with ourselves?
Okay. The peace with ourselves comes from understanding that everything that happened in the past, we couldn't have done any other way because it didn't. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah? We couldn't have done any other way given our particular conditions, within our awareness, the level of our awareness, or my particular setting in my family or in my educations, where I am, I had to make that choice. I didn't have any other choice. Yeah? So realizing that, whatever I did in the past, I did the best I could. Right? So we can love ourselves, that was the best choice that we could have made in any other way. There was no other choice we could have made, right? So we can, rather than judging ourselves, wishing that I wish I didn't make that choice. But the thing is, if you went back and you were in that situation, you would have made exactly the same choice. Yeah? So can we, make our love large enough, not just to include other people, but also ourselves, We couldn't have made that choice because it didn't happen. Yeah? Okay. And so the peace is basically, rather than a lot of people say, how can I let it go, I'm not, I have some, hurtful experience in the past, and I cannot be peaceful because of it, blah, blah, blah. Let it go, means let it be. You see what I'm trying to say? Yeah? So if we can just let it be, then there is peace. Because we cannot let it be, and therefore we are still arguing with the past, start hoping that it was different, So if we can just let it be, because there was no other choice. And then second question is the purpose of life or meaning of life?
Yeah,
or
greatest lesson that you got from your own experiences because you live in the West and the East, and then how do you define happiness and also the greatest lessons about life. You also talk about, masih ingat ya Haemin menulis small but certain happiness. You also write that on your book. Maybe you can
Right,
elaborate
right.
a little bit about that.
Right. Okay, then I realized that, this was a huge awakening for me, I think one of the reasons why I was born in my own family in that particular situation is for me to realize life is abundant. Right? Because in the past, if we think from the ego's point of view, and we often think about just survival, and then we often equate abundance with ownership. Yeah? Only if when we own something a lot, and then we will feel secure, we'll feel life is abundant. But that's not true. Yeah. It took me I don't know how many years for me to realize that life is abundant. If the having ownership or not having ownership, it is just a thought. Yeah? Like, for example, if you can really appreciate whatever comes into your life, and like, I don't know, maybe it's a good example is we can go to like museum and see beautiful, expensive, incredible piece. Let's say, I don't know, famous artists like a Monet or some Picasso or something, that you go see it and then, wow, it's a Picasso, While you are appreciating, that becomes part of your world. Yeah? Your life is already abundant. Like, for example, in Korea right now, autumn, it is at its peak. So everywhere I go, the trees are the beautiful, incredible color. And all of this is in my life experience. Yeah? I feel like this is abundant already. The fact that I get to meet you, prove that my life is rich. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. It took me a while for me to realize, because I always, equate abundance with ownership. But that's not necessarily true, Like, for example, if imagine that in Korea, like you can rent apartment, and then somehow you saved up enough money and you bought that apartment that you are living, right? What's the difference? Only thing that is different is your thought. Yeah? The living situation is the same or not? Exactly the same, right? Right? So in our thought, if you can just see beyond ownership, then you will begin to appreciate my life is already abundant, right? I hope it. Yeah, that was one of my greatest lessons.
Thank you. Kalau kita sudah berpikir bahwa kita bahagia saat itu, then we can be happy ya. Jadi nggak perlu nunggu-nunggu kapan dan mau kemana gitu ya. Oke, pertanyaan berikutnya dari belakang, Mbak Gebi. Silahkan pilih ya Mbak. Tadi kan depan udah, terus belakang. Hopefully we still have a time. Masih ada 20 menit lagi. Oke, silakan. Hai.
Hi.
Annyeonghaseyo.
Good evening, Mr.
Good evening.
Sunim. Like 11 hours ago, I wrote a comment in your Instagram asking about this event.
Oh, okay.
Because the ticket was full booked, and you said that just come
Okay.
because there is seat available there.
Okay.
And then, I came here.
Oh,
Yes.
Thank you
Great.
very much. Terima kasih. Dengan Mas siapa ya?
My name is Rifki Maulana.
1,
Rifki.
2, 3.
Hai Rifki Maulana.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here.
Yes.
I want to ask you a question. My mother passed away in 2020, and like 5 stages of grief.
Yeah.
And I have faced all the 5 stages, and then when I feel stressed and like the pressure of my work and some people around that I feel they are toxic, and it's becoming a phase of denial, and I always say to myself that I wish my mom could hug me right now. I wish my mom could cook my favorite food. I wish she was alive right now, and I wish I could tell everything that I've been through these days. And would you mind giving me a suggestion about I don't want to come back to my denial phase of 5 stages of grief, and perhaps you made some suggestion for me to not coming back to denial phase of 5 stages of grief if I feel stressed, if I got so many pressure in my life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Rifki. So sorry to hear your loss, ya. Thank you for sharing with us. Silahkan.
We have this belief that when our parents pass away, we experience loss, right? So we often say, "I'm sorry for your loss," right? This is very common expressions. Yeah? But can you see that the connection that you have with your mother in this case is still there? Yeah, it's still there. It doesn't disappears. Like for example, you might be mimicking some of your mom's habit. Yeah, the way she talked to other people, and I am talking similarly. Or for my case, the eating habit, the kind of food that my mom likes, I also tend to like. And the way I talk to somebody, I just realize I am talking just like my mom is talking, right? In that behavior, my mom is alive in me. Yeah, there's a connection there, right? But if you think that I lost my mom, and then we feel like I am the victim because I don't have my mom anymore, and I don't feel secure, and I don't feel loved, and there are a lot of stress going on in the world, and I wish my mom can comfort me and make sure that I feel all right. Yeah, but the truth is, aren't you all right? Aren't you already all right? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah? We believe that I have to be all right. I can be only all right if my mom is there. Right? But is it true? Is it really true that we will not be all right if my mom is not there? We will be sad, incredibly. We will miss her, right? But I'm not denying those emotions. Yes, we can cry and we can miss her. All of that is human experience. However, but as a matter of fact, can you see that we are not going to be all right? We are already all right. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Yeah, we are already all right. Yeah, we are already all right. Yeah? So when we realize that, first, I didn't lose my mom because my mom is alive with me, and I am also connected to my mom, although she is not in this human physical form, but she is still connected with me. Yeah. So there is always these connections, and at the same time, I am already okay. The reason why my mom passed away is for me to realize that I don't have to depend on other people to make me realize that I am okay, I am already secure. I am already all right without other people's, If we don't have this belief and thinking that I will feel better, I will become all right, only if I have my husband, only if I have my wife, then I'll be all right, yeah? This mindset, if you depend on that person for you to feel better, for you to feel secure, then this is very, you are putting yourself in a very you are not in power, basically. You are giving up your power to them. And because of this mindset, if something were to happen to them, then you feel incredibly sad and insecure, and your life is over, something like this. Yeah? And that is not true. Yeah? Maybe all those people that we love, they pass away for us to realize that I am already all right, without other people. But once we realize that, and when we are meeting our husband and wife or close friend, we don't necessarily depend on them for me to feel secure. Rather, two whole beings, we are just celebrating our aliveness, our being togetherness, not necessarily psychologically depend on each other. This can be actually a very toxic relationship, if you have that relationship. So that's another. And then the third thing that I will advise is, why don't you make small donation in your mother's name? Yeah, if like whatever your mom care about, find a good cause, good non-profit organization, and make a regular donations in your mom's name. You will help you, and in Buddhist term, your mom will also receive merit, and then you are also making merit at the same time, while confirming your relationship, continuous relationship with your mother. I hope this helped. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are all alright ya teman-teman ya. Baik, pertanyaan lagi sebelah sana di belakang. Silakan Mbak Gebi. Boleh dipilih lagi. Halo, selamat malam.
Selamat malam, terima
Good
kasih.
evening.
Nama saya Linda Homia.
1, 2, 3.
Hai Linda.
Hi.
Hai Linda.
I want to asking, and thank you, grateful you're coming to Indonesia first. I'm working in a finance industry.
Financial
And-
institution.
Yeah, so I'm asking about money.
Money. Okay.
When do you feel
Interesting.
enough is enough?
Oh, when is
Because in my ecosystem, everybody like greedy, more is more. So this is one asking in my lifetime, when enough is enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Mbak Linda. What a profound questions. When is enough is enough?
Right. Money is like a fuel, right? It allows you to go somewhere. But the thing is, if you do not know where to go, then you think that fuel itself is going to make me feel happy. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like for example, for me, I feel incredibly happy when I have a nice meal with my close friend. Yeah, like a Saturday night, I meet my friend, and then after, hiking, nearby park or mountain, we hike, and then we go to our favorite restaurant, we sit down and then have a nice heart-to-heart chat, and while eating delicious food. This makes me feel really, really happy, right? And that's happiness, We don't need a whole lot of money to feel happiness. So if you know the destination, what makes you feel happy, whether for some people it could be a spiritual journey, that is, doing some meditation retreat, something that like makes you feel happy. Just do that, you don't need, a lot of money to feel happy. Like the thing that I said earlier, what makes me feel happy is, the sunlight, beautiful sunlight, and this amazing, nature, yeah, and then all those great friends, and all the friends that I love so much, I feel so lucky because I really love my friends, right? So the fact that I have so much love for my friend, usually they love me back too, Yeah, so these are the very source of my happiness. So if you do not know the source, where you want to go, then you think that the fuel is the happiness. Yeah? So I recommend that, maybe people, those of you who feel like it's not enough, then look around, yeah, and find out where the happiness lies. Yeah, and surely you will realize that you already have it. Yeah, okay.
Terima kasih, tepuk tangan dulu untuk Haemin dan Mbak Linda. Satu pertanyaan lagi, betul Mbak Gebi? Ada hadiah soalnya tadi, yang mana? Yang di depan aja, ada yang mau tanya? Dr. Andreas? Masih wet, boleh. Mbak Gebi? Hai Mas Iwet, selamat malam. I
Hi.
think you meet online, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I
Yes.
saw the video.
I remember, yeah.
You remember?
recording.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm the one who asked you about your love language.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And it was quality time, I still remember. But I'm not going to ask about that, nor asking about your zodiac. I was intrigued about discussion about ego. And I understand that ego is very close to us, human. The question is, how to handle ego? That's all.
How to handle, like other people's ego or my ego?
Our ego, my ego.
My ego, okay.
Yes.
All right.
you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you. Ego.
You know, ego, if you just look at it, what ego is, it is just stories. Yeah? Ego is built on stories. Story about you. Story about. So basically, it's very flimsy. And because it's very flimsy, you have to work very hard to maintain your ego, because you know that ego is built on a very flimsy base, which is just what? Words, you know? Yeah, nothing more than words. There is like nothing beyond words. It's just the words, yeah? And stories about you, and you think that that's your identity. Yeah, but that's not your true identity. Okay, like for example, when I ask you, you know, who are you? You know, who you are, you know, people will say, I am from this family, and I grew up in this town, I had this kind of upbringing, and because of this, I have this kind of hobby and political view. You know, you have your own ideas about you, and therefore you begin to think that I am separate self who has this story. You see what I mean? Yeah. And then you meet somebody who's different, you know, from your story. Yeah. It's like saying that, you know, this blueness, you know, which is very familiar with, you know, from Aqua family, and then you meet Lu Mineral family, right? Lu Mineral family, and then you begin to say that, oh, you know, because my story says, you know, you know, you should wear this kind of blue, you know, not that kind of blue, right? And then you begin to fight, right? But realize that what you're fighting is just based on the stories, right? It's very flimsy, you know? And the interesting thing is, if you bring your mind to here and now, like right here, just feel nowness, yeah? Just feel now. Thus, in this space of now, is there any story? No. You see what I mean? Yeah. There is no story. Yeah. Story only exists when we think about our past. Yeah. But we don't want to live our life imprisoned by what happened in the past. And so I would say that whatever the ego's preference, you know, I think this way, you know, because of my background, my upbringing, or my particular situation. It is just my own preference, nothing more. It's not objectively right. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. And then what's interesting is, right underneath the ego, there is our spirit level, you know, that's more our true nature. Yeah? Our true nature long for what? Love and long for peace. Yeah? We want to be happy together. Yeah? This is what our, you know, true nature wants. So getting in touch with true nature is important. Yeah? So like sometime, you know, we meet somebody who has very fragile ego. Yeah? When they do have a very fragile ego, then they appear to be incredibly strong, yeah, demanding, yeah. But they are exhibiting in that fashion because deep down they feel that their ego is very weak. Yeah, they are very weak, and they have to really pretend, you know, I am really, you know, like this very strong person, blah blah blah. But deep down, this person know I am like very weak. I am nothing. You know, if people get to know me, they will realize that I am nothing. I'm nobody, and therefore I have to exaggerate. You know, I have to have this strong, you know, personality and very demanding. You know, all of that. If you can just see through that, you know, how fragile and that person's ego, and understanding how difficult their life is, although they might be very, very successful, yeah. However, they have to live with this very fragile ego. Then you can have a little more compassion for them, yeah. Because I am in a much better situation. I am happy and very comfortable with my own ego, yeah, my own story. Okay, I hope that helps.
Thank you very much. And I think that's the reasons why it is also important to talk about the spiritual point of view that you put in your books. Not only about talking about the Buddhist teachings, but also talking about the spiritual, holistic point of view. Would you tell us more about that, the importance of having that spiritual point of view to, you know, being accepted with ourselves, no matter what imperfect we are, in the world striving for a perfections?
Like consider this, yeah. Consider this. Before being born on this earth, yeah, there are some lessons to be learned. Our spirit has to evolve, yeah. And in order for us to be completely, you know, free, realizing our true nature, which is freedom and love and peace. Like, you know, all the things that we are seeking, we already have. Abundance, freedom, you know, love, peace. That's our true nature. However, if we begin to misidentify ourselves with those stories, for example, yeah, and then we begin to feel there is some limitation. You know, we are imprisoned in our own story. And therefore, I feel like I'm the victim of my situation. You know, I'm the victim of my family. You know, the family is making me, you know, I cannot do this and that, you know, blah, blah, blah. The whole point of our, you know, earth life is to get evolved. Yeah? So imagine that being, you know, before being born here, you have curated, you know, certain event, including some of the event that you would call it tragedy, you know, something that's very difficult, challenging. You curated all of this event, you know, maybe your parents pass away early, or maybe your business fail, you know. You curated it just so that you can see or wake up, you know, from the illusion of our separate, you know, separation, you know. Illusion of ego, you know, or illusion of scarcity, you know, illusion of inadequacy, illusion of not being enough. Yeah? So everything in life is happening for me, yeah, and not to me, you know. And everything in life is happening for me so that we can grow, you know, in our good or difficult, challenging experience. So if you can, you know, see that, then whatever comes in our way, you know, whether it's a heartbreak or business failure or, you know, accident, you know, so whatever that is, we can gratefully receive and try to see what the lesson I am supposed to learn from this. If we can see the lesson from that experience, chances are we will not repeat the same thing. But if you did not learn any lesson from that, then guess what? You will end up marry the same, very similar person. Yeah? And then you may get divorced. And then you have another marriage and you realize that, oh, all men are the same.
All men are the same.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is important for us to see that, if you experience some pain and suffering, and to see what that lesson I was supposed to learn, in this earth. Because we are here to learn and evolve, to realize our true nature, which is peace, love, abundance.
Thank you very much. Kalau teman-teman ingat di last chapter in this third book, ya, di chapter terakhir, you also talked about our connections with the universe and also the presence of our Creator, so that whatever happens to us, if things doesn't go our way, God's love and presence will always be with us. Don't you feel more lightened after hearing that, ya kan? Jadi masih ada Tuhan, kita masih bisa bersandar pada Tuhan. So I think that's most of some of the things that are very important to talk about is your spiritual point of view in this books, right? I know that you guys are still have something to discuss about, but I am so sorry that the time is limited, and we are having like the audience that standing here online, Haemin. So, di mana kameranya ya? Where's the camera that we can wave our hands to the everyone who's joining online? Di mana kameranya? Hello, teman-teman. Terima kasih banyak, selamat bergabung ya. And after this, we're going to have a book signing session. But first of all, would you mind to share a closing statement to all of us here in Jakarta as you will go back to Korea tomorrow night, isn't it?
Maybe two things. Like I was, coming to this place, Tim, right? This place, yeah. And right before arriving, maybe like 3 minutes before, I saw traffic, right? I saw traffic. And I was thinking to myself, oh, on the left there are all this car illegally parked. I was judging, you know what I mean? Like, oh gosh, all this illegal park, that's what's causing all this traffic, And so I was like a little bit, not so happy, right? And then my friend, who was sitting next to me, Anton, he said that, oh, I think they parked because of your event.
It's true, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I thought, oh, this is fine. This is oh my gosh, oh God, I'm thankful that they parked. You know what I mean? See, exact same thing. How, like whether we resist or we accept. When we accept it, we don't have any problems. But when we begin to judge and criticize, then you have to live in that world of negativity. Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, you might be absolutely right. But you have to live in that, negative comments. There's a negative commentary always, running around. You are the victim. So rather than being right, please raise your vibrations to the level of gratitude and love. And then another thing that I would say that I had a wonderful lunch 2 days ago, Jakarta. Yeah, it's a wonderful place, and I had but it was kind of outside, so the bugs can come in. And then bugs, surely came in, and then mosquito, bit me like somewhere here, right? And then, but the thing was, although I was like feel a little bit of like pain, right? Or having burning sensation, I did not mind. Why? Why I did not mind?
Because you enjoy the beautiful scenery and lunch with your friends. No. The food is good.
Because I know that this pain will disappear in 1 hour. You see what I mean? Yeah. So whatever the pain that you're feeling, yeah, it's impermanent. Yeah, it's not here anymore. You know, if you can tap into here now, there is no more stories. Yeah, it's just already gone. Yeah? The best thing about the past is that it is over. Yeah, the best thing about the past, it is over. Yeah, isn't that incredible? Yeah, it's over. It's over. You see, so rather than dwelling on what happened in the past, I want you to, you know, co-create with the universe, you know, and be the creator of your destiny. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Haemin Sunim, everyone. To close the session, if you don't mind, I will read some of the quotes from your book. This is the latest book yang diterjemahkan ke dalam bahasa Indonesia di tahun ini, bulan Agustus 2024. I hope you guys are also reading the same page, halaman 31. It stated that kita bisa memiliki hubungan yang lebih tulus dengan ketidakbahagiaan dengan mengingat bahwa alam semesta ingin kita bertumbuh lewat rasa sakit dan kejadian tidak menyenangkan. Ketika setiap situasi dalam hidup kita selalu menyenangkan dan lancar, kita tak akan punya alasan untuk tumbuh menjadi versi diri kita yang lebih dewasa. Hanya saat kita keluar dari zona nyaman dan mendapati diri kita dalam situasi yang asing dan sulit, barulah kita mulai belajar dan berkembang secara intelektual, emosional, and most importantly, spiritual. Alright everyone, ladies and gentlemen, boleh kita tepuk tangan sekali lagi untuk Haemin Sunim. Thank you so much. Namaste. Kamsahamnida. Boleh kita tutup sesi ini dengan kita berfoto bersama. We can take a picture together. We can go around. Teman-teman boleh bagaimana nih teman-teman panitia? Duduk di sini, oke. Kameranya di depan ya. Bukunya boleh diangkat kali ya. You can bring your books, I will bring mine. Nah, gimana yang di belakang kelihatan nggak? Atau yang di belakang mesti ke tengah? Gimana? Namaste. Gimana? Ready? Oke. Kita bilang apa ya? Haemin gitu ya, biar giginya i gitu kan. Oke. Oke, 3, 2, 1. Oh ya. Boleh apa ya? Hai Haemin gitu kali ya. Tadi kan udah dada. Oke, mana nih kameranya? Sampai lupa. 3, 2, 1, say hai Haemin. Lagi 3, 2, 1, hai Haemin. Oke, sudah cukupkah teman-teman? Sudah cukup aman? Alright, thank you very much everyone. Boleh kita berikan tepuk tangan yang paling meriah dulu. Book signing will be here. I think you can get ready to sitting down and you may have a space for everyone to join us in the book signing session. Terima kasih banyak ya teman-teman sudah bersedia untuk hadir malam hari ini. Jangan lupa teman-teman panitia akan menyampaikan sedikit soal do and don'ts pada saat book signing, betul? Yang belum mendapatkan bukunya bisa langsung beli, di depan ada diskon 15%. Thank you very much everyone for coming. Natalie Indri signing out. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Teman-teman nanti dipanggilnya berdasarkan nomor yang tadi dikasih. Emang nggak dapet nomor tadi di depan? Ya tunggu, kalau gitu setelahnya. Nanti itu terakhir gitu. Jadi yang mohon maaf sekali. Gitu. Nanti di kertas yang dikasih tadi bisa ditulisin nama. Biar nanti apa tuh namanya? Tadi nggak dikasih ini tadi. Yang dapat post-it tadi boleh tulis namanya di post-it ya teman-teman, biar nanti Haemin kayak bisa nulisnya lebih cepat dan lebih jelas. Tapi nulisnya yang jelas ya, jangan kayak diukir-ukir, jangan kayak kecil. Kenapa? Oh iya boleh. Terus nanti yang ditandatanganin teman-teman tolong buku aja ya, jangan kertas, jangan apa yang lain, buku aja. Kalau misalkan belum ada bukunya bisa dibeli di belakang. Bukunya bukan cuma boleh buat diri sendiri, buat teman-temannya misalnya kayak mau beliin buat kado kah, sekarang mau mau Natal, mau tahun baru dan lain-lain, boleh silakan berapapun banyaknya buku yang ditandatanganin boleh gitu, intinya kayak gitu. Nanti kalau mau teman-teman yang mau foto, kameranya boleh dititipin ke kakak yang ini, nanti difotoin ya. Oke, sekarang dipanggil dulu nomor 1 sampai 10, silahkan maju nomor 1.
A sama B.
Oh, jadi apa? Bentar, kakaknya yang akan memanggil.
Ya. Oke, bisa dari B1 sampai B10 dulu ya. Oke. B1 dulu di sebelah sini. Ya. B1 ya. B1 dulu. Oke. Ya, silakan mau foto boleh. Ya, handphonenya dititipin sini. Handphonenya sebelah situ. Oke. Silakan boleh masuk. Ya. Ya. Bilang aja itu di posnya kamu lihat tuh. Ya. Sabar ya. Ya, ini langsung aku bantuin mau dibuka. Enggak apa-apa. Tinggal aja boleh atau? Jadi nanti setelah B1 sampai B10, A1 sampai A10 ya. Oke, gantian ya. Boleh ngantri ya, bisa antri ke belakang, jadi habis itu biar lebih cepat. Kalau yang belum dapat nomor antrian, sabar ya, don't worry, pasti dapat kesempatan. Jadi saya ulangin dari yang udah dari B1 sampai B10, lanjutannya adalah A1 sampai A10. Kalau bisa prepare ya, siapin bukunya sama tadi ada post-it-nya, namanya supaya nggak salah. Oke, jadi setelah A10 selanjutnya nanti B11 sampai B15 dulu.